Aloha. All right, if you follow me, you know that I like world politics, so we're going to talk a little bit about BRICS again. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let's talk. Let's be a community. Let me know what you're thinking.
All right, let's delve into a topic that demands careful consideration and a clear understanding of the forces at play. The shifting terrain of global power and the calculated roles that two particular nations, Cuba and Bolivia, are attempting to carve out for themselves within the BRICS framework. This isn't merely a matter of political expediency or superficial alliances. It's about the fundamental tectonic shifts reshaping our economic, political, and indeed our very existential realities. We need to understand what these nations seek and what the consequences might be for the rest of the world. At the last summit in Kazan, two Latin American countries, Cuba and Bolivia, were invited to become BRICS partner countries. A third country, Venezuela, was also on the list, but its candidacy was rejected by Brazil, which caused surprise among the participants,
I wonder why.
especially given the presence of Nicolas Maduro and the absence of Lula da Silva. The reasons of this decision are not yet clear, but it is a fact that Cuba and Bolivia, having received the invitation, confirmed it and assumed the status of BRICS partner countries. In today's video, we will talk about them. Let's turn our attention to Cuba, a nation with a long and, shall we say, complex history, a history marked by resistance and struggle against external forces. Cuba is now navigating a particularly challenging economic period. Cuba holds a position of significant geopolitical importance due to its location in the Caribbean. It's a strategic point, a literal key to the Gulf of Mexico, and its relationship with the United States has been fraught with tension, conflict, and ideological opposition for decades. This complex relationship, shaped by the Cold War and its aftermath, profoundly influenced Cuba's foreign policy and its interactions with the rest of the world. Cuba's leadership is trying to leverage its long history of advocacy for a new multilateral world order and its alignment with Russia in order to gain access to resources from the BRICS. Cuba has several avenues.
This could be huge for Cuba.
For potential economic growth, despite its current undeniable struggles. There is potential for growth in sectors like tourism, biotechnology, and remittances. These are areas where Cuba has demonstrated some capacity for innovation and development.
Oh, it's going to draw something
Cuba also possesses valuable natural resources, including nickel, cobalt, and offshore oil. However, the Cuban economy is currently in a deep crisis, with a tourism industry that has yet to recover from the pandemic and a great dependence on foreign aid to provide basic necessities. The island nation also faces increased financial pressures due to US sanctions and a reluctance to open up its economy to foreign investment. The Cuban government is increasingly reliant on foreign aid to provide for its population. The country's recent electoral crisis has further exacerbated its economic struggles. The Cuban government has explicitly stated that the US economic warfare has disrupted the supply of fuel, parts and pieces for technical maintenance and investment. Cuba is actively seeking to reduce its reliance on the US dollar and create a new financial architecture.
We knew that the shaving.
Now let's consider Bolivia, a landlocked country of 12 million people in the heart of South America that is also navigating a period of significant transition and turbulence. Bolivia plays an important role in the South American economy due to its natural resources. Its vast reserves of lithium are estimated to be over 21 million tons. It's an absolutely staggering amount, and Bolivia is trying to leverage this resource for economic advancement and strategic advantage. But the full exploitation of these deposits has been hindered by several factors, including technological limitations lack of investment, and environmental concerns.
China can
It
take
was
care of all
once a
that.
significant natural gas producer, but now it's facing declining production and fuel shortages that have resulted in long lines at gas stations and significant social unrest. Bolivia's political landscape is again complex, with a left-leaning government led by
Yay.
President Luis Arce, which is currently dealing with internal power struggles and significant public discontent. The country has been experiencing a severe fuel crisis and a dramatic drop in foreign currency reserves, making it hard for Bolivians to obtain US dollars. Mounting public anger has led to protests and calls for early elections. This political instability may complicate its aspirations within BRICS, but at the same time, Bolivia is attempting to cement its position as a supplier of raw lithium to the global market by expanding trade and investment relations within the bloc. The government also seeks to reduce dependence on the US dollar for foreign trade. In achieving this goal, the country may succeed in the near future. Bolivia's strategic position as a country through which a transportation corridor connecting two oceans will run makes it a significant player. The project will be a logical continuation of China's construction of the huge port of Chancay in Peru, which can receive the largest container ships. Beijing's total investment amounted to $3.5 billion, and the route for Latin American goods to China was shortened by 10 days. The new railroad, in conjunction with the port, will establish development corridors for the export of high-tech goods, which will have a positive impact on the economic development of South America. The railway will be included in the Belt and Road project and will be realized
Belt
in
and Road.
cooperation with the BRICS countries. Following its launch, the
Man,
time
if America would get on board with the Belt and Road Initiative, like China's got almost half the planet connected. I don't understand why we got to be so competitive to where we want others to fail. Like, why can't we be cooperative? Help people, let them help us, share. We're past the point of competition.
and cost of delivering goods from South American countries to China, India, and Russia will be significantly reduced. It's unsurprising that the implementation of such projects in countries of the Global South is met with concern in Washington, as the Transoceanic Railroad will compete directly with US-controlled trade routes through the Panama Canal and the Atlantic. Now let's consider the common threads that bind Cuba and Bolivia as they both seek partner status within the BRICS framework. Both nations are eager to diversify their trade relationships away from traditional partners, and they both see the BRICS as an opportunity to do so. They are seeking to build economic partnerships with BRICS nations, leveraging their natural resources and trade opportunities to help mitigate their current economic struggles and dependence on Western financial systems.
Right, something
Both
more fair
countries
for
have
them.
also deepened their ties with Russia and China and are attempting to position themselves as key players in a new international order. Cuba and Bolivia face considerable and, dare I say,
Che.
existential challenges. Like other emerging powers, they must grapple with issues such as infrastructure deficit, burdensome debt, and, in case of Cuba, long-standing debilitating sanctions imposed by the US and European Union. Bolivia, for its part, is facing dollar shortages, falling gas production, and a fuel scarcity that has disrupted the everyday lives of its citizens. These issues make their interest in the BRICS all the more urgent. They see the BRICS as a potential way out of their current predicaments and a possible pathway towards greater stability. The inclusion of Cuba and Bolivia as partners in BRICS has the potential to significantly affect global dynamics. There may very well be a diversification of geopolitical influence, with BRICS acting as a counterweight to Western dominance and, in particular, US hegemony. Economically, this could mean shifts in commodity and energy markets and a more robust South-South cooperation, that is less reliant on the traditional financial structures that are centered around the US dollar. BRICS aims to reshape the global financial order and decrease reliance on the US dollar. They also intend to challenge the dominance of Western financial systems through the New Development Bank and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement. There is also a stated desire to reform international institutions like the United Nations and the IMF. This is, to put it mildly, a very ambitious agenda. Now, what about the future? The path forward for Cuba and Bolivia within BRICS is complex, presenting both risks and opportunities. They will need to address their internal challenges, leverage their strengths, and actively participate within BRICS to reap any potential benefits. Strategic partnerships within BRICS, especially in areas like technology transfer, infrastructure investment, and financial cooperation, will be absolutely vital. The evolving role of BRICS, the inclusion of nations like Cuba and Bolivia, and the aspirations of other nations within the Global South all reflect a significant, perhaps even epochal change in the international landscape. It's a shift away from a unipolar world and, in some cases, toward a new multipolar dynamic that is still unfolding, still in flux, and still presenting a challenge to the existing order. Understanding the motivations, the underlying assumptions, and the strategic goals of each of these players will be absolutely critical as we seek to navigate this new terrain and attempt to comprehend the nature of the world as it is being remade before our very eyes. This is a matter that requires not just attention, but also a deep and profound understanding of the values that are ultimately at stake. Don't forget to...
Right, and so the United States went around the world. She's talking about U.S. hegemony. That means we're the one power. We go around the world destroying, not sharing technology, right? Not helping out, but spreading democracy through bombs and whatnot, and never really helping the countries that we destroy, right? We've been in Afghanistan, Iraq, for Afghanistan like 20 years, Iraq, I think longer. We were in Iraq when I was in grade school. I'm 45. I think we were in Iraq when I was like 13 or something, so 30 years or so. But it's crazy, right? We spend all this money to kill people. BRICS, China, whatever, Russia, they're going around the world trying to make the world, build it up and stuff. I know Russia has their war with Ukraine right now. They're trying to, I don't know, it's like, that's obviously not good, but the rest of the stuff, they're going around the world trying to help build, it seems. So, I mean, I'd rather see countries do it like BRICS, help the workers of the world unite, rather than, imperialism, saying, oh, you're brown, you're short, you're this, you're that, so you're different, you're over there. All these migrants aren't worth, nothing, nothing, nothing. So I would assume over time, BRICS, all these countries are going to have some kind of border policy to where they can freely move around, or they can at least more easily move around inside the BRICS nations and stuff. So to me, that's all good stuff. I think we'd want one world over time, Star Trek style, right? That's the whole thing. But you want to get this kind of information right. Talking about China, Russia, BRICS, all these other countries, Cuba. You got to get your information from across the spectrum.